welcome back to my channel. And before I get started on today's video, just wanted to say, if you have not subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting on? Please go ahead and do so. And also like, share, comment, all that good stuff. And today's video is going to be a follow-up to the video that I made a couple of weeks ago about my first travel assignment here in North Dakota. I am going to share with you what it has been like so far since I've been here. It's been about 3 weeks, some pros and cons, and some things that I may do differently next time around. So when I started this contract, or when I signed my contract was supposed to start January 17th. My plans were, I had made reservations for the Airbnb to check in January 16th, which was a Saturday. Well, that Friday, I received a call from my recruiter while I was in the store getting some last minute items for the road. He was letting me know that the quantiferin test that I had took for the TB test, it was the blood work. He told me that the results were not in, and the hospital did not want to start me without having the results. He also explained to me that typically the hospital orientation starts on a Monday. He could see if he can get me in orientation during the middle of the week, but there wasn't a guarantee that he was going to be able to do that. And he was like, I'm not sure when you were planning on heading up. I just don't want you to go and you may not work for the first week. So he gave me the option to think about it and let him know. But unbeknownst to him, my reservation was for the very next day. And he called me at 6, and the cutoff time to make changes to my reservation was 5 o'clock. So I was really in a bind. I had no choice but to go unless I was going to lose out on some of my money. And I also looked at it this way. I'll go. If I start on Monday, that's fine. If I don't start on Monday, it's still fine. At least it gives me a week to spend with my son and, just see the city. It was something that I was going to say. Oh, this is what I was going to say. So if there are any of you who are out there and you're thinking about traveling, I just wanted to let you know this before I forget. When you book an assignment, like initially, you're going to be out of pocket for everything. You're going to be out of pocket for your housing, your travel, and all of that. The travel agency, there are some agencies who may reimburse you for your travel expenses. But if they do, you just know that initially you are going to be out of pocket for those things. So if it's something that you are thinking about doing, I would highly advise that you save some money so that you are able to cover your living expenses for maybe the first couple of weeks or maybe the first month. So yeah. Let me see now. What was I going to say? Okay, back to what had happened. So we get here, we checked in that Saturday, that Sunday, went to the store, just hung out in anticipation that I could possibly go to work on Monday or maybe not. So Monday morning, about 7 o'clock that morning, the recruiter called me to let me know that the hospital wanted me to report at 2 o'clock that afternoon. So that 2 o'clock that afternoon, I go to the hospital. It was like a meeting with HR. It was like a 45-minute meeting, just signed some paperwork. Tuesday, I had an 8-hour nursing orientation. That's just your typical orientation where you just go over the different hospital policies, like what their rapid response system is like. We met with the pharmacist. We got checked off on the glucometers and all that stuff. Wednesday, I had an 8-hour EPIC training, which worked out perfectly for me because my previous hospital, I was already using EPIC. So I just needed to know what this hospital system was like. And Thursday, I had a 45-minute meeting with the educator on the floor just to talk to me about what the orientation process was going to be like, what my comfort level was with different procedures and stuff like that. There was another traveler in that meeting. And on Friday, it was my first day on the floor. I had a 12-hour orientation with another traveler. Um, and I just want to say this, not to come across like I'm being cocky or anything like that. It's just the orientation process is already a long and draining process. Like, I did not want to follow someone around watching them do something that I know how to do. Like, I know how to assess patients. I know how to give medicine. The only thing that I need to know is like where things are. Because in the meeting with the educator, she was basically saying, "Oh, you don't have to take a team. You can just watch and get a feel for how they do things." And I just do not like watching people do stuff that I know how to do. It makes for a long day, and I'm like, I have to do this anyway. So the nurse that I was with, she had 4 patients, and I was telling her, I can take 2, you can take 2, and that's how we can work it. So that Saturday, I was out on my own, by myself, and it was a pretty good, first week. Um, some pros and cons that I have about the hospital. I like the fact that although it's a step down unit, there's not a lot of charting. You do one assessment and then you do another assessment 8 hours later. And with their Epic, they have this copy and paste feature, which works out perfectly, as long as there are no changes with your reassessment. Um, let's see what else. Another pro. That's probably it on the pro. Some of the cons that I have, and it's not even a big con. It's just me just being used to a certain way, and a certain system. The way that they utilize Epic, is not the way that I'm used to. I feel their Epic is so behind. Um, I feel like I'm from the future and they're from the past, and I'm just telling them, just, oh my God, just wait until you get to this point of realizing what Epic can do for you. It'll make things so much easier instead of doing the double charting. But that's just minor. Um, their techs, our techs are patient care techs. Their techs are like nursing aides. Um, I don't think that they utilize them to their full potential, but that's not for me to decide. I am just here in passing. This is not my full-time job, so I'm just going with the flow. Um, what else did I want to say? Something that I would do differently next time around. Typically, when you start an assignment, you get your reporting instructions. Next time around, I definitely would make sure that I have my reporting instructions before I arrive to the place that I'm going to be working at. And then also, this time around, I just went with one recruiter. It was a referral from a nursing friend. And I came here because like I knew 2 people who was going to be working here, and it's nice to, have a familiar face. But next time around, what I would like to do is, basically shop around, like treat this as if like it's, really a business. Shop around for the best contracts, and whichever company offers me the best contract, I will go with that. So that's one thing that I would advise you to do if you're looking into getting into, travel nursing. Before you settle on one company, um, do some research, and see what else is out there, see what other contracts are out there. And I think the last thing that I have is, now that I've been doing this and I received 2 checks so far, I must say it is going to be hard for me to go back to working the floor. Um, when I received my first check after just a week of just orientation, the first thing I thought of was that guy from social media, the one that came out of the car and was like, "Where the money reside? Where the money reside?" Yep, that was me. When I say that first check was lovely, it was lovely. And to know that I can make this amount of money in a week's time versus what I was bringing home in 2 weeks' time, and the overtime, it's just, it's not worth it for me right now. When I get older and things in my life change, maybe I would go back to being a staff nurse, but not at this point. Um, and then also the biggest thing outside of the money is I like being in control of my schedule now. I like that now. There are certain holidays that I don't want to work. There are certain times of the year that I would like to travel. But when you are a staff nurse, like you can't do that. Like you're either working every other holiday, every third holiday. You have to find someone to switch with you, and that's hard because they probably have stuff with their families. And then during certain times of the year, companies or hospitals may, block out the schedule and tell you you can't use any PTO time. So I like that now. What I can do is either I can just put in my contract that I can't work these days, or I can just schedule my contracts to where either I'm ending the contract before that time of the year comes that I want to travel, or and then I'll start another one after the fact. I just feel like now I'm in complete control of my schedule. So yeah, that's all I have for you right now. If it's something that you're wondering and I did not cover, feel free to um leave a comment with the question. I will respond to it. Until next time, I will see you all in the next video. And that's going to be a couple of weeks away when I do a video about what the experience has been like so far. So I will catch you all in the next video.